Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Tuesday, October 15, 2024, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. A Michigan Republican Congressional candidate is accused of misleading voters after running an ad with the wrong election date in a black newspaper. We'll talk to one of the black lawmakers who filed a complaint. Record-setting numbers were cast on Georgia's first day of early voting as a judge ruled that county election boards must certify elections regardless of what these MAGAs think. Also, Fox News' Charles Payne took exception to Vice President Harris's plan for black men, and so he had a few words. Well, I got a few words for you, Charles Payne. In North Carolina, gubernatorial candidate Mark Robinson, also lieutenant governor, is suing CNN for $50 million for their report on his comments from an adult website. Also, the Justice Department agrees to an $8 million settlement from Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation for its redlining in Birmingham, Alabama's black communities. Plus, Florida cop says a white man who may have pulled a gun on a black teen walking in a neighborhood did nothing wrong. We'll show you the video. Donald Trump speaks to Bloomberg and sounds like a complete imbecile when it comes to the economy. And why does a white MAGA Trump supporter have the audacity to try to heckle comedian Gary Owen? It didn't end well for that maggot. I got the video. It is time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, in Michigan, black lawmakers filed a complaint about an ad targeting black voters from a Michigan Republican running for Congress. It was printed with the wrong election date in a black newspaper. Tom Barrett's campaign placed a full-page ad advertising in the October 2nd edition of the Michigan Bulletin, a black-owned publication predominantly serving Lansing's black community. However, the ad told readers to vote on November 6th, the day after Election Day, November 5th. Barrett and Democrat Curtis Hurdle are vying for Michigan's 7th Congressional District. Democratic State Senators Sarah Anthony of Lansing and Erica Geis of Taylor say the ad violates state law. Senator Anthony joins us now from Lansing, Michigan. Glad to have you here. So, first of all, what was his explanation for this screwed up wrong ad?
You know, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. And you know, the Michigan Legislative Black Caucus was disappointed and quite honestly furious when we heard about this ad that was advertised in our black community here in the mid-Michigan area. The Barrett campaign simply relegated it to a typo. But anyone that is running for Congress, which is a very high office here in the country, should be able to proofread. But the amount of sloppiness and, in our opinion, intentionality behind the misinformation related to this ad has just sent shockwaves throughout the black community in Michigan's capital city. I'm the first black woman to lead in this role in the Michigan Senate. And so when we hear about these incidences of voter suppression, the Michigan Legislative Black Caucus has to act. And so we've been disappointed, but also very frustrated.
Any apology from him, or is it just, oh, well?
I mean, you know the game, right? It's business as usual. That it is, oh, well, it is, oh, it was just a typo. We've even heard reports of them saying, well, the black newspaper should have edited it. They should have corrected it. Now, keep in mind, in the same vein, the same exact timeline. Okay,
first of all, let me just say this right now. As somebody who's run 3 black newspapers, sales departments don't edit ads.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And keep in mind, in a majority white paper, a mainstream paper here in mid-Michigan, they happen to have the identical ad, but with the correct date.
Wow.
So
wow. Same ad?
Same ad, right? Same ad, same graphics, just happen to have a different date. I mean, this is literally the equivalent of playing in our faces. And so the Michigan Legislative Black Caucus took action. We contacted the Attorney General, and just today, they instructed the Barrett campaign to cease and desist. This is something that we have to be diligent. You know, we have seen time and time again bad actors try to misinform Black communities. And this newspaper is distributed in our barbershops, our beauty salons, our churches. Anyone that has seen this ad now could be deceived and potentially misled. And it's just something that we can't take for granted weeks before this election.
Well, here's a perfect example. 2 years ago, two white conservative operatives, go to my iPad, they ran a voter suppression scheme, and they actually were sentenced. Jacob Wohl and Jack Berkman have placed some 85,000 robocalls to voters in Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Ohio, telling them that voting by mail would risk, quote, giving your private information to the man. The robocaller, who claimed to be within a non-existent group called the 1599 Project, falsely said that voters' information would go into a database accessible to police, debt collectors, and the CDC, which would use the information to impose vaccine mandates. Again, this is what we see that always are happening that targets African Americans.
Time and time again. You know, I'm a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and the amount of efforts that we are putting forward in this community and across the state. Michigan is a purple state. We are very much a swing state, and the amount of information that we're trying to get amongst our community, this is a slap in the face to those efforts. But again, we see it each and every election cycle. This just happens to be the latest and most blatant attempt to misinform Black voters. All right, then. Senator, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, let's talk about what happened in Michigan, where a judge has ruled that, sorry, Georgia, you MAGA folks, you can't just do whatever the hell you want to do. This ruling by Robert McBurney rejected an appeal by a sitting county co-superintendent of elections to delay or refuse finalizing results based on the suspicion of fraud or a discount. The lawsuit that brought McBurney's response was initially filed by Fulton County Election Board member Judy Adams, who voted against certifying the most recent primary election in Fulton County. In his order, McBurney said Georgia's election codes and laws are designed to ensure fair and orderly elections, but some election officials are working against that outcome. Now, in Georgia, folks stood in line in Metro Atlanta to cast their ballots for the presidential election. Preliminary numbers indicate Georgia is going to break their first day early voting record with about 72,000 people casting ballots by mid-morning. That number has been growing and growing. It's now more than 250,000. And so there's significant interest in the Peach State as a result of this election. But again, what you have are MAGA Republicans on the elections board who want to essentially try to steal this election if it doesn't go their way. My pal, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice, the EPA, joins me from D.C. Randy Bryant, DEI disruptor, also from D.C. Gavin Reynolds, contributor to The Root, and former speechwriter to Vice President Kamala Harris, joining us, New Haven, Connecticut. Here's the reality, Mustafa. We see this is like clockwork. You're going to see Republicans do all they can to try to shave votes off because they know if there's a lower turnout, it helps them. If more people turn out, they will say we can't win.
Right. They're very clear on what the numbers look like. And that's why, you know, with the opening stories there around disinformation and misinformation, there's real intentionality in that space because they know that if they can just get a few percentages to change, then they stand a chance. But they know that if our folks know when to vote, one, they're registered, two, they're showing up to vote, that, you know, it's going to go in the direction of the party that actually cares more about our community. So, you know, it is a game. We got to understand that there's strategy behind it. Folks are not just making mistakes when someone says, well, we just put the wrong date. there's no legitimacy to those types of statements because, as the sister shared with us, and the other newspaper that catered to white folks, they had the right one. So we just got to understand the power that we have and the responsibility that we have also to make sure that we're going to trusted sources and then making sure that we're showing up to vote in large numbers. And that will take care of it right there.
Randy, bottom line is this here. Republicans will try to cheat. And, I mean, when you talk about how do you run the exact same ad with the right date in a white paper, with the wrong date in a black newspaper, yeah, that's called by design.
By design, absolutely. And for a politician or anyone in that political world, election dates are like their birthdays. They are not going to forget the election date. They may forget their wedding anniversaries. They may forget their children's birthdays, but they are not going to forget November 5th. That is not a typo. That does not happen. So obviously it was purposeful because they're trying to confuse people and put misinformation out there. Another form of cheating that is not something that this is not the first time they've done it.
Gavin, and so I don't want to hear anything from any Republican who say, oh, this was an honest mistake. It happens. No. It's amazing how it happens over and over and over and over and over from the same party in different parts of the country.
Definitely. Let's talk about Georgia, my home state. Just today, my mom sent me a video from where she proudly cast her ballot. And the line was very long, and we know which party takes the vote early. So I'm really excited about the enthusiasm that Vice President Harris and Governor Walz have generated among the voters of Georgia. The polls are extremely tight, but as we've all been saying, we know that when the Republicans, knowing that they're bound to lose, what do? They change the rules. They rig the rules. Let's talk about what Mayor Bottoms, who you had on the show a few weeks ago, had to say, Roland, in reminding us about what the Georgia Election Board was up to in passing a rule, by the way, which our Republican governor, Republican Secretary of State, and Republican Attorney General all said was illegal, to mandate that ballots be counted by hand. Why would they do that? To cast doubt in the voting process in Georgia. And this is the same party, of course, that claims to be about local control, about judicial restraint, about limited government. Yet the state board enacted this rule that sought to subvert what local election boards could do in terms of ensuring a fair and transparent voting process. So it's important that we see through these efforts, whether they're happening in Georgia, in Michigan, or wherever, and to Mustafa's point, that we do what we need to do, which is to go out there and to vote, because the Republicans are not going to stop these tactics. They've been doing them for decades and have intensified them since Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won Georgia. The rules that they've put into place have been just terrible. But we're going to do what we need to do. All right, then, folks. Hold tight 1 second. When we come back, Vice President Kamala Harris releases her plan for rural America. And also, why is Fox Business host Charles Payne so upset with the Vice President's plan for black men? Wait till I show y'all what he said. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator.
and we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message. I get it. The cost of rent, groceries, and utilities is too high. So here's what we're going to do about it. We will lower housing costs by building more homes and crack down on landlords who are charging too much. We will lower your food and grocery bills by going after price gougers who are keeping the cost of everyday goods too high. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message because you work hard for your paycheck. You should get to keep more of it. As president, I'll make that my top priority.
Bob and I both voted for Donald Trump.
I voted for him twice. I won't vote for him again. January 6th was a wake-up call for me.
Donald Trump divides people. We've already seen what he has to bring.
He didn't do anything to help us. Kamala Harris, she cares about the American people. I think she's got the wherewithal to make a difference. I've never voted for a Democrat.
Yes, we're both lifelong Republicans.
The choice is very simple.
I'm voting for Kamala.
I am voting for Kamala Harris.
It's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
This is your boy, Earthquake.
And you're tuned in to
Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
All right, folks, so you can always count on folk just throwing all kind of silly stuff out. So you got these people whining and complaining after Vice President Kamala Harris released her black agenda. You got some people saying, oh my God, it's not detailed enough, it's not specific enough, it didn't mention this, didn't mention that, it doesn't have this. You know, when you ask these people, well, can you please tell me specifically what it is you want them to deal with? They actually can't answer the question with any detail. So y'all know I don't watch Fox News because I like my brain cells. So I came across this video on Twitter, which I found to be baffling. And I really have no idea what the hell Charles Payne is talking about in this segment. So allow me to deconstruct. Press play.
Black men have to get over the fact that you got a woman on the ticket. Right. And are you afraid to vote for her is basically what he did and challenged them.
A damn shame. It's like, it's so insulting. Could you imagine a white man talking down to black people like that, particularly black men? That's our issue, women. It's not the fact that I don't have a job or my job is not existing or, you know, I'm in a world where, by the way, progressives are erasing me from movies, from billboards, from opportunities. The Democratic Party, particularly progressives in Hollywood, Madison Avenue, Washington, D.C., Wall Street, they have erased the black man. There's no opportunities for black men anywhere in their...
Freeze. He just said Hollywood, progressives in Hollywood, Wall Street, all these places are erasing black men. They don't have jobs. Charles, you're on Fox Business. You're supposed to be a business anchor. You do know that under Biden-Harris, the black unemployment rate was at its lowest since they started tracking black unemployment. You do know that. Black men are being erased in Hollywood. That's probably news to Sam Jackson and Morris Chestnut and Denzel Washington and John David Washington and on and on and on. Then he throws in Wall Street. So I'm curious, Charles, where are all of the conservatives who are saying, black men, I welcome you with open arms? Please, by all means, show me, especially on Wall Street, Charles. Oh, but you only say progressives, which means that if we had to start running some numbers, Charles, that means that we would be seeing a plethora of black men being embraced and hired by white conservatives. Because that's really the flip side of what you just said. Press play.
And I think a lot of it centers around what they perceive as to be too much toxic masculinity. They hate black masculinity. They hate it. And they've gone to war with it, and black men have noticed it. And guess what? They're saying, we're not going to take it anymore. Give you an example. By the way, they're tired of being pimped. Brothers are tired of being pimped.
Hold that. I find that to be real interesting, Charles, because didn't the network where you work at, Charles, do this? Is this your network, Charles? I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong, Charles. Fox News pays $10 million settlement to settle racial, gender-biased lawsuits. This is May 16th, 2018. The story's from NPR. It says that the parent company of Fox News has paid approximately $10 million in settlements with 18 former employees, according to two sources with knowledge of the deal. The cases arose from intense scrutiny of Fox's workplace culture after it was convulsed by a sexual harassment scandal. Please, by all means, Charles, was Fox News upset with the toxic masculinity of black people? So you want to explain that? See, I love how y'all, you just throwing out stuff. You got no facts, no backup, no research, no knowledge, no nothing, but you just, hey, let me just throw some stuff out. And you got Bill Hemmer, he don't know what the hell you talking about. And the woman sitting next to him, they ain't got no clue about black people. So they're not gonna push back because they figure, oh, the black man sitting here, he surely has to know. Press play.
Kamala Harris is going to do something to legalize marijuana. As they were pushing for this, all these states, the legalization thing, every time they put black people in the commercials, front row, it's opportunities for minorities. This is an article from 2022. Payne, talking about Congressman Donald Payne at the time, outraged that New Jersey denied cannabis licenses to all black-owned businesses who applied. To every single one. None. But they had the ads, black kids and black people making money from this. But when it came through, they gave them zero. They give them zero every single time.
Freeze. So Charles brings up an article from New Jersey. First of all, let me remind you, Charles, that was the state of New Jersey. Donald Payne is a congressman. So you are trying to equate cannabis licenses with legalizing marijuana. That's two separate conversations. Okay, so while you are talking about that, and let me be real clear, Charles, because I'm so glad that you are so concerned about this story. There are many folks like yours truly who have reported on this, who have been advocating for this as well, and have also been demanding changes to these state laws because many of them have been hurting the very people who are helped. But I love it how, Charles, you think that's only in blue states. Again, Charles, by all means, can you show me how conservatives in red states are just so welcoming to black men? How they are laying out the black carpet for black men? Could you please show me how they are creating? Oh, I'm sorry. It's your guy with the lawsuits that target the Fearless Fund. It's conservative lawyers and conservative attorney generals. Remember after the affirmative action decision, the Supreme Court, that dealt with colleges and universities, Charles? What did Senator Tom Cotton do? Send letters to law firms telling them that their programs to increase black lawyers was unconstitutional. Charles, please, prove me wrong. Show me where you criticize Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton on your show. Charles, by all means, show me where you criticized these Republican attorneys generals who said that we're going after these programs. As a matter of fact, Charles, I'm gonna help you out. I would love to hear you, Charles Payne. And Charles, I've been on your show. You know me. I got your phone number. You got my phone number. Please, Charles, I would love for you to defend this program on your show. Los Angeles School District Black Student Achievement Program upended, targeted by conservative Virginia group. A federal civil rights complaint lodged by a conservative Virginia group has led LA Unified to end racial preferences in a program aimed at helping struggling black students. So right here, the Virginia-based group Parents Defending Education, whose mission is to oppose destructive practices in schools, including policies related to race, sexual orientation, and gender identity, had filed a complaint in July 2023 with the Federal Office for Civil Rights against BSAP. It alleged the program violated the Constitution and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 by providing extra education services based on a student's race. The Virginia group's trustees include Edward Bloom, who founded the organization behind the lawsuit leading to the 2023 Supreme Court ruling according to tax filings. Please, by all means, Charles, show me where you are critical of them. A program to help struggling black students. A program to help struggling black students succeed in school in order for them to be able to get jobs, build wealth, buy homes, help a family. But, Charles, please show me the evidence where you criticize their actions. Because see, here you are, oh my God, but black men don't have jobs and they're being shunned out and frozen out of commercials and movies and Wall Street and Hollywood and ad agencies. Okay, Charles, since you brought up ad agencies, please show me the evidence, Charles Payne, of you standing up and calling out these lily white ad agencies. Please show me the evidence. Here's an article, July 20th, 2023. Ad Age. Agencies owned or run by white execs jumps to 90%. Survey shows diversity actually worsened in some areas, such as creative last year. Charles Payne, show me the evidence where you went on Fox Business on the show that you anchor and called out these agencies. And if you did, great. But if you didn't, how are you going to raise the issue in opposition to the vice president's plan, but you didn't say nothing right here? Go ahead, press play.
Every single time, and guess what? Black men are waking up. They're not wanted in the white progressive world. They're not wanted, and they're waking up to this and they're pushing back.
Wow. Do you think that they?
Hold up, put that on pause. See, I already showed y'all. Hell, Charles, black men weren't even wanted at Fox News. See, I love how you black men not wanted in the progressive world. Really? Okay, Charles. I dare you to do this, Charles. I dare you to run the numbers. See how many black men work for Republican United States senators. I dare you to run the numbers to see how many black men are working for Republican members of the U.S. House. See, she got all this smoke for progressives. Okay, I dare you, Charles, on your show on Fox Business to show the same righteous indignation on the Republican side. But you and I know you ain't gonna do that. Because you and I know who cut your check. In fact, Charles, since you got all this smoke for progressive, how many black men at Fox News and Fox Business? In fact, let me pull his name up. In fact, didn't y'all used to have a black president at Fox Business? And didn't Suzanne Scott, the CEO of Fox News, fire him? So please tell me, Charles, how welcoming is your network? Matter of fact, Charles, see, I love it when you start saying stuff like this here. Because, Charles, don't you work for the same man who screwed over Keenan Ivory Wayans and the Wayans family when it came to In Living Color? See, I remember there was a show called In Living Color that helped make Rupert Murdoch real rich. And I remember when Fox launched the FX cable network and y'all started running reruns of In Living Color on the network, and that cost Keenan Ivory Wayans millions of dollars in residuals in the syndication market. And that's when Keenan Ivory Wayans and the Wayans family quit the show, and y'all tried to keep it going, but you couldn't do it without the brilliance of the Wayans family. So you tell me, Charles, you ever brought that up to Rupert Murdoch? You ever raised that with the Fox Entertainment executives? Now, I know Rupert sold Fox Entertainment, sold it over to Disney. But since you want to talk about how progressives or don't like black toxic masculinity and they don't want to support black men, they ain't helping black men, your boss did that. Your boss, yes, your big boss, Rupert Murdoch, screwed over a black man named Keenan Ivory Wayans out of millions of dollars by running episodes of In Living Color on his cable network, thus cheating Keenan out of millions upon millions of dollars he could have made in the syndication market. That's what your white conservative boss did to a black man. Y'all go ahead and press play.
For those who are not inclined to vote for Kamala Harris, will they sit it out and not vote, or will they vote for President Trump?
I think the majority will vote for President Trump. This is not a sort of, hey, protest, you're going to miss me kind of thing. This is like, okay, this is a guy, by the way, for all of the media attacks against Trump, he has reached out to black voters from day one. Even when inside the Republican Party, all the experts, right? And we have a few of them who come through the building. It's a mistake, like that, like when they say don't campaign here, don't campaign there. All these experts who, by the way, are not at the top of the ticket, told them not to reach out to black voters. This is from the very beginning. He goes to the Bronx. He goes to these different places. He's reached out to black voters in a way that no Republican candidate ever has. Despite the fact that they said, well, your return on investment will be nil. He still has gone out and done that, and people appreciate that.
Yeah, one more thing for that New York Times poll. 47% of African-American voters, a plurality, said crime in big cities had gotten out of control.
Sure.
Well, no duh.
Yeah.
They care about it, too.
Sure, of course, the black people care about it. Listen, when I sit with my friends and we talk, Yeah, they're all registered Democrats, and most of them are loathed, have never voted for a Republican. But when you listen to our conversations, you would think it was a room full of 10 Republicans. You know, I mean, it's time to say, hey, whether you talk out loud, because, you know, this whole cancel culture has been existing in our black community for a long time. Either you keep it real, but when you want to be yourself, it's not keeping it real, right? You keep it real or you're kicked out. People are saying, forget about it. I need to take care. Every one of these initiatives, by the way, Kamala Harris is talking about. Mentorship, apprenticeship, these are all buzzwords. These are all buzzwords. You know, I'm 23 years old. Now you want to give me an apprenticeship? You're not even talking about long-term solutions for my children. None of this is for long-term. Oh, health initiative, get the health initiative. You know how they're going to help black people in health? They're going to expand screening, preventative screenings. That's not helping. That's not helping. That's the kind of thing when they tell black people, go out and improve your credit. For what? To be a better consumer? I mean, all of this stuff is ridiculous. This is all the stuff this is in their bag of tricks. But the bags of tricks, it's old, it's got cobwebs on it, and it's left black people wanting and hurting in this country.
We should even hit K through 12 education.
What you just heard there was a busload of bullshit. First of all, Charles, you know you lying. You know you lying by saying, oh my God, Trump has gone all of these places. He has been aggressive in recruiting up to black people. Charles, stop lying. I mean, bruh, I get dancing for a check, but damn, you got some Gregory Hines, Sammy Davis Jr. tap shoes on right now. Cause you just straight ass lying. You know you lying. Is black Republican. Let me ask you this, Charles. When Lord Trump took over the Republican Party, what happened to their black outreach program? I'll wait. If the black outreach person quit when Trump took over in 2017, I'll wait. Come on, bro, I got receipts. I got receipts. And then you're like, well, I sit with my friends and these things happen and Trump is going to the Bronx and he's going to play. Or what, his tennis shoes? Or what, his mug shot? Or what? He think black folks gonna buy that cheap-ass $100,000 watch made in China? Charles, come on. And oh, look at this here. I mean, they're talking about screening. We don't need that. We don't need screening. We don't need screening for prostate cancer. We don't need screening for glaucoma. We don't need screening. What the hell are you talking about? Charles, in fact, your man Trump opposed the Affordable Care Act. Oh my God, they ain't done nothing for black. Okay, Charles, when did Trump announce his platinum plan? When did he announce it, Charles? In October of 2020. Oh, so you're criticizing Harris for announcing a plan in October 2024. But you lauded his plan, right? When the last time you heard him talking about his plan? When the last time you heard him break down his plan, Charles? Again, I just want to know. See, Charles, when you also said, they've done nothing for black people. Black men are like, no, they done. Look at this. They got mentoring, and they got this, and they got, oh my goodness, and they got this, and I don't know why they got all these things. Go to my iPad. All I'm gonna do is scroll. Did any of this stuff happen, Charles Payne? Let me ask you this, Charles Payne. Did you cover any of this on your show? Charles Payne, have you had the head of the SBA on talking about them growing black American business ownership at the fastest rate over 3 decades? You have a business show. They tripled the number of SBA-backed loans to black-owned businesses. Charles, you have a business show. awarded a record $10 billion in federal contracts to black-owned small businesses in 2023. Charles, you got a business show. You could cover all these things, Charles. I have. Charles, they've invested $17 billion in HBCUs. Charles, have you covered this on your show? Pell Grants, $170 billion in student loan debt. Charles, have you covered on your show them rooting out racial bias in home appraisals, closing the black-white home valuation disparity gap by 40%? Charles, you have a show. Have you covered any of this? Have you discussed on your show, Charles, that black wealth, even after adjusting for inflation, is up 60% relative to pre-pandemic levels, the largest increase on record? Charles, have you covered any of this on your show? I'm just curious. I'm just curious, Charles. See, again, I love it. And let me just keep going. Let me just keep going. See, Charles, I'm doing the work for you. I'm doing the work for you. As a matter of fact, Charles, I might text this to you so you can have it in your bookers. Charles, I dare you to have this on your show. Oh, I'm sorry, Charles. So you have a business show. Charles, are you aware that today the Biden-Harris Department of Justice and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau penalized Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation for redlining in black neighborhoods in Birmingham, Alabama? They alleged that Fairway illegally redlined black neighborhoods, including through its marketing and sales actions. Charles, are they progressive? Are they conservative? Fairway's actions discourage people from applying for mortgage loans in the Birmingham metropolitan area's black neighborhoods. If this decision is ended by the court, the settlement announced today will require Fairway to pay a $1.9 million civil penalty to the CFPB's Evictors Relief Fund. Fairway would also be required to provide $7 million for a loan subsidy program to offer affordable home purchase, refinance, and home improvement loans in majority black neighborhoods. Let me also help you here, Charles. An analysis of this, Charles, indicates that as a result of this decision, first of all, let me help you out, Charles. And again, Charles, please, by all means, call the DOJ. Have them on to discuss this. The Biden-Harris Department of Justice, in 3 years, has achieved $150 million in mortgage relief as a result of these settlements. Every dollar generates $10 in activity, so this represents $1.5 billion. Charles, where you at? Charles, I dare you and Dana Perino and Bill Hemmer to discuss this on Fox Business, discuss this on Fox News. That happened under Biden-Harris. But see, it's amazing how y'all don't cover none of this. But you want to pontificate. Black men can't get a job. Black men not in Hollywood. Black men not in commercials. Black men not in ad agencies. And Charles, you don't cover any of these stories. And if you did, send me the video. I'll correct the record. But some tell me, you ain't never covered any of these stories. And truth be told, you never will. Mustafa, Randy, Gavin, see, this is the stuff I'm talking about. When these folk, Gavin, go on these shows and say all sorts of stuff, and they not expecting somebody's gonna clap back. Yeah, I'm not on Fox News, I'm not on Fox Business, but guess what? We damn sure gonna check the facts. Gavin?
Yeah, I was keeping track of some of these lies he was telling. So, you know, he said, black men are gonna vote for Trump. He said they're not going to stay home, they're going to vote for Trump.
He lives a majority. Ain't no way in hell. First of all, the largest percentage of black men voting Republican was in 1972 at 23%. Charles, what the hell are you talking about? Majority of black men going to vote for Trump. Gavin, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, so he said a majority of black men are going to vote for Trump. That's not going to happen. And in fact, right now, Trump has made zero gains with any black voters, men or women since the last time around. He said that Trump has reached out to black voters since day one. I guess what he's talking about is when he took out a full-page ad to call for the death penalty for the now exonerated 5, when he alleged that Barack Obama was not a U.S. citizen and was born in Africa, when he told us that there were fine people on both sides at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, when he told us that Haiti was a shithole country, when he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, when he started selling his gold sneakers and flaunting his mugshot, and when his RNC, led by his daughter-in-law, decided to close every single minority outreach office that the GOP supposedly opened. So, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Roland, for checking him, because Republicans be doing this. And J.D. Vance told us the other week in the debate, oh, I didn't know y'all were fact-checking this.
Randy, these are the same people who don't believe in systemic racism, who didn't do a damn thing. And Randy, under Trump, there was one police. And see, don't try to talk about crime, Charles, and Dana and Bill. One police patterns and practice investigation under Trump, 12 under Biden-Harris. Those are what we call facts, Randy. And also, Randy, we know damn well Charles ain't done no stories on how white these ad agencies are. And trust me, they all ain't progressive.
Not at all. And he knows it. And so the shucking and jiving that he was doing, like you said, I mean, he was some Gregory Hines doing, I mean, although we shouldn't disrespect Gregory Hines that way, but the tapping that was going on. And it was, what was interesting to me is that the white anchor kind of like told him what to say and then threw the ball in his court. And they just sat there and just were like, yes, black man. Yes, you little slave boy. Do what we want you to do and say what we need you to say. And he sat up there and performed. Even his suit looked as, you know, a performance. He looked like a clown to me.
No, Charles, but Charles, listen, Charles, I ain't gonna call him a slave boy. Charles wears suits like that. He wears pinstripe suits like that all the time. My whole deal is just don't lie. I mean, just don't lie.
I mean, why I say that he was acting like he was enslaved was because of the fact that he was performing for his white audience and the white anchors, and it was doing to me what they asked him to do, to the point that he was lying.
Got it.
And so anytime you feel the need to perform, that means someone else is controlling you. You are not controlling your own thoughts. And because he knows that Trump has not been a friend to the black community, especially with black men. He recently just said that he was going to get police officers immunity, which he knows.
And bring back stop and frisk.
And bring back stop and frisk, which he knows will affect us the most. The Republican Party said that when he became a felon, that was the time that black men could most relate to him, as is to suggest that's all our black men are. So to say that the reverse was quite disgusting. And so it was a performance. And so when someone else is running you, there is a slave mentality.
Mustafa, as the young folks say, he was doing too much.
He was definitely doing too much, but he was also doing what he was told to do. You know, it's sad when folks who come from our communities not only support race baiting, but actually allow it to come out of their mouths. It continues to impact our community in all kinds of ways, because for some folks who maybe have no idea about what Fox does, to see a black man sit there on that particular show and to share these untruths. Yes, they are lies. And also to have an understanding that, you know, when Trump was in, he was focused on deconstructing critical programs for our communities, making sure that we couldn't garner additional wealth. There was no actions that they put in place to help us to do that. There were no actions to help us to have more affordable housing. There was no actions to address, you know, whether it is black maternal health or the sets of disproportionate impacts that happen in our communities in relationship to health care. So they didn't do anything there. There was a neutering of anybody who was willing to stand up and say something about the injustices that they were trying to move forward on. And you still saw the neutering once again. So, you know, we know the game. We know what's up. We have to be smart enough to be able to look through this disinformation and chaos campaign that they have in place and do what's best for our community.
Indeed. All right, folks. Again, Charles, I dare you to talk about any of these things on your show. any of those financial issues that Biden-Harris has done. I dare you discuss that DOJ settlement and any of them, the $150 million on your show. We'll be waiting and watching, and we'll see. I'll be right back.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children, but my embryo transfer was canceled 8 days before the procedure. Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade stopped us from growing the family that we wanted. I don't want politicians telling me how or when I can have a baby. We need a president that will protect our rights, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Of 100 Republicans who worked in national security for Presidents Reagan, both Bushes, and for President Trump, now endorsing Harris for president.
She came up as a prosecutor, an attorney general, into the Senate. She has the kind of character that's going to be necessary in the presidency.
Vice President Harris is standing in the breach at a critical moment in our nation's history. We have a shared commitment as Americans to do what's right for this country. This year, I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Former generals, secretaries of defense, secretaries of the Army, Navy, and Air Force, CIA directors, and National Security Council leaders under Democratic and Republican presidents, Republican members of Congress, and even former Trump administration officials agree there's only one candidate fit to lead our nation, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Kamala Harris has never backed down from a challenge. She put cartel members and drug traffickers behind bars, and she will secure our border. Here's her plan. Hire thousands more border agents, enforce the law and step up technology, and stop fentanyl smuggling and human trafficking. We need a leader with a real plan to fix the border, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. And that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I wasn't able to get life-saving treatment sooner. I almost died. And that's because of the decision that Donald Trump made.
I was able to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I'm proud to have done it.
The doctors and nurses were afraid that if they treated me in the incorrect way, that they would be prosecuted for that. And that's appalling. Donald Trump says that women should be punished.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
I believe that women should have reproductive freedom to make the choices about their own bodies. 4 more years of Donald Trump means that women's rights will continue to be taken away one by one by one by one. This has to stop because women are dying.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
challenge that I face is that they are trying to scare people away because they know they otherwise have nothing to run on. Ask Donald Trump what his plan is for Black America.
Stand by.
And this audio town hall comes as Vice President Kamala Harris realizes that she has an issue. Young Black men are slowly leaving the Democratic Party. It's a problem that's actually been brewing for several election cycles, but now it's finally coming to an head. And I had an opportunity to speak with many of those men while traveling the country over the past few months, asking them what they want from a presidential candidate and what they're looking for right now. Here's a part of those conversations. Why do you think that more Black men don't vote?
They don't see things changing. They feel like some may feel like it's a waste of time. The scales are definitely unbalanced when it comes to the Black community and everybody else. You have to look at what the majority needs. You know, what we want in the Black community and what's going to help us.
You want to see them in your community?
I want to see them in my community.
Talking to people like you?
Yes, I want to see them talking to people like me.
When I'm talking to young, especially young men, nobody has talked to them about the importance of what we're doing. And they can't believe. They said, nobody never asked them to come vote.
All right, so in an effort to course correct here, Vice President Kamala Harris has rolled out a new economic plan created specifically towards Black men. She's calling it her opportunity agenda for Black men, and it can be broken down into 4 major categories here. So let's go through a few of those. Ensuring that Black men can build wealth and achieve economic success, lower cost, access to high-quality, affordable health care, and the fight to protect the legal rights of Black men. The plan is extensive. It's full of promises, but here are just a few of the really important items that stuck out to us. She claims that she'll provide 1 million loans to Black entrepreneurs that will be fully forgivable up to $20,000. Also, a tax cut for Black men in lower wage jobs by increasing the earned income of tax credit maximums of $1,500 and legalizing marijuana nationally in an effort to make it easier for Black men to actually enter the cannabis business and helping Black men provide care for their aging parents. All right, so let's discuss this a little further. I want to bring in former NFL player and turned federal commissioner Jack Brewer, who also runs a nonprofit that helps Black men across the country, and Roland Martin. He's the author of White Fear and the host of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Okay, a lot of people that I've been talking to on the road for a long time have known that this was an issue, and they were wanting to see how the Harris campaign was going to address it. We don't have time to go through all the aspects of her plan, but it's very broad. It's kind of a grab bag, it feels like, in some ways. Everything from helping Black farmers, access to cryptocurrency, internet access, more jobs for teachers, so many things. I could keep going here. It's quite extensive. But Roland, I'll start with you here at the end of the day. Is this too little, too late? Is it believable that she actually has a plan to help Black men?
Business ownership grew at the fastest rate in more than 3 decades, $17 billion to HBCUs. When you talk about $170 billion in student loan debt, those things actually happen. Also, 400,000 Black children taken out of poverty as a result of changes to the SNAP program. Now, that has to continue. When you talk about money to Black farmers, again, that actually happened under Biden-Harris. But then you had Stephen Miller, Donald Trump's right-hand man, who sued to stop that from actually happening. Mostly white farmers got $25 billion under Trump. Black farmers and Hispanic farmers were left out. And so the reality is those things can actually happen. They've done things in the last 3.5 years. She's saying let's build on what we've already done.
You know, the thing is, though, Jack, at the end of the day, from many of the men I've talked to, they don't feel heard, they don't feel seen, they don't feel like the Democratic Party has been doing those things that Kamala is talking about. So are they going to be convinced that she is the future, that she can change? Because they're saying what they're seeing right now they don't really like. That's why they're leaving.
Not at all, and Roland knows that. Kamala Harris is focused on every other demographic other than Black men. Just look, our reading and math proficiency levels all across every major city. Our kids can hardly read and write. Look at the math, the reading and math proficiency levels. Look at our economy. They're prioritizing illegal immigrants over Black people across the board. Come here in Florida, come to every other state, these sanctuary cities. If you're a Black military veteran, illegal immigrants are getting a bigger check than you are every month. And black people see that. They know that we're not being prioritized. The Democratic Party, particularly Kamala Harris, is trying to be everything to everybody. And secondly, she's been in office almost 4 years now. Why hasn't she put any of these plans into effect already? She hasn't. She's not going to do it because right now she's pandering. I finally woke up to see masses. But if you're a legal immigrant and you commit a crime, they let you run the streets. We got 15,000 illegal immigrant murderers. We have another 13,500 rapists that are illegal immigrants running our streets. If they were black men, they would be locked up. Roland knows it, and the entire black community knows it. And that's the reason why we not win on November 26th.
But Roland.
Younger, they don't. Now, when it comes to voting, how do they particularly vote? Same conversation was had when Stacey Abrams ran for governor of Georgia. All of these stories, oh my God, black men, voted for Brian Kemp. What actually happened? It didn't happen. Let me tell you right now, you
think people are talking about this, but it's not going to happen at all?
I'm sorry.
So what about the people that come out and say that they're frustrated? What about them?
You've talked to a few black men. I'm literally in 4 black male, I'm in 4 black male organizations. 55,000 black men will I win with Black Men Call. I have 1.42 million YouTube subscribers, 65% are black men. I think I know what I'm talking about because of black men. What you're finding is,
isn't that just a moot point? Isn't this a waste of our time if there's not a problem?
If it's not a problem, why would Trump launch a platinum plan? It's called you're appealing to demographics. Politics is about appealing to multiple demos. Guess what? Today, Harris released a rural plan for America. You have plans targeting women. You have plans targeting inner cities, targeting rural, targeting business owners, targeting men, targeting women. That's across the board. The reality is this here. The problem for Republicans is black men vote for Republicans at the smallest group out of all men in America. Black men are the second largest voters for Democrats. What is required here is for Democrats to not only speak to the issues, but yes, also deliver and also explain when you do. Today, the Department of Justice settled against a bank in Birmingham, Alabama that committed redlining against black communities. And that money right there, they have to create a $7 million loan to provide loans to black people in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, are you discussing that story? Is that impacting black men in Birmingham? It absolutely is. That was announced just today. So the things are happening. So I actually cover what happens as opposed to a lot of the fictitious stuff that Jack is sitting here speaking.
This happened today. This happened. Kamala rolled out this plan today, and she talked to Charlamagne the God today. Obviously, we have Obama out on the campaign trail. Jack, let me get you in here because this is also a generational thing. It's not all black men. It's mostly younger black men who don't feel as loyal to the Democratic Party. So I'm hearing. What are you hearing?
So they haven't been brainwashed by their grandparents because they realize that time to change. The Democratic Party has changed. Listen, Roland, I got over 2,000 black men in my prison programs. I employ 80% of my staff.
Wants to put more in prison.
I see what you're saying, but that's just not the reality. The fact of the matter is, if you look at unemployment and you look at Donald Trump and you look at the history, black unemployment started to go lower than ever under Donald Trump. Why?
Hold up. It fell at its lowest point under Biden-Harris.
So if you want to talk about the impact on black America, talk about inflation doubling. You don't think that's impacting black and brown people who have to go to the grocery store? Now, let me finish, so I did not interrupt you, brother. You don't. The floor is mine now. I gave it to you, and I was respectful with that. Now you're gonna listen to me. The fact of the matter is, black and brown people have to go to the grocery store, and that's what they're feeling right now. These young black men realize they went to these schools. We're sticking our black men into these public schools that are broken and not working, and they can't. They got to take on massive debt. We don't need debt relief. We need education from kindergarten through 12th grade. We need our black schools to work again. We don't need places like Baltimore that have 38 schools where black kids are not proficient in reading and math. LA, 75% of black kids that graduated in LA are not proficient in reading and math. If you go to Detroit, Michigan, fourth graders, 85% of fourth graders in Detroit, Michigan, not efficient in reading and math. People understand that, particularly young people, because they're having to deal with the realities of this economy where they can't pursue the American dream that my dad and my granddad could pursue. You can't continue to talk about the victimhood. We're not a victim. We're in the greatest nation on earth. If you go to Africa, you go to the Caribbean, you go to other countries that are full of black folks, they're trying to get here. Why? Because we have the American dream.
Here's what I know is a fact, Jack.
Under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
Here's what I know is a fact.
Half of the things that
all right.
you're talking about,
I'm almost done.
Already done.
It's a basic fact check.
Crazy enough to believe that all of a sudden she's just gonna switch up and become this newly engaged candidate. She is not engaged in Black America.
Keep filibustering. It's a basic fact check. Black unemployment dropped to its lowest under Biden-Harris. That's an actual fact. Two. You just talked about all these black-owned businesses. The fastest growth in 3 decades. Also, Donald Trump wants to bring back stop and frisk, and he wants to give his cops 100% police immunity. Under Donald Trump, police...
stop and frisk because illegal immigrants are raping and killing people in the street.
96% of black men...
I got to jump in here.
Come on, Jack.
The illegal immigrants that are taking over our community.
All right, guys, I got to jump in here. This is an interesting conversation because at the end of the day, I have 2 black men who vehemently disagree with each other. And I think it's interesting that I have black men out in the community who say people aren't listening to them at the end of the day. We'll see if Kamala Harris is town hall with Charlamagne the God and, Magic Johnson coming out with her can shift here. But we'll continue this conversation. It's a good conversation. Jack Brewer, Ronald Martin, thank you so much.
Jack some money. Trump ain't getting 20% of the black male vote. Watch.
All right. We'll leave it there. We are watching. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, y'all. Bring me back on my show. Okay, I don't know what happened there, if y'all could hear the show or not for the first part there. So that was Jack Brewer. He a former football player. He a conservative. He run his mouth. He out here talking about Trump gonna get the black vote. Y'all know damn well Trump ain't getting the black male vote. Okay, and I love it. I love it how these people act like Trump didn't say out of his own mouth he wants to give cops 100% immunity. I love it how they say that he didn't really say stop and frisk. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm going to say it again, y'all. Under Donald Trump, there was 1 police patterns and practice investigation. 1 in 4 years. 12 under Biden-Harris. Just Gavin, Mustafa, Randy, can y'all tell me, I'm just going to deal with environment. Mustafa, for the audience, tell me the difference between the Trump EPA when it came to environmental racism and Biden-Harris. Oh, damn, I'm sorry. Trump-Pence didn't even believe environmental racism existed.
Well, that in itself says a lot, that they didn't even admit that it happens inside of our communities. They knew that we had, hundreds of thousands of people who are dying prematurely from air pollution, but yet they continued to want to allow the fossil fuel industry to pump inside of our communities. And then, of course, we see what happens after that. The stuff that goes into the atmosphere then causes these severe storms, these hurricanes, and a number of other things. And again, we get hit first and worse than ours. When it came to the opportunity to actually address what was going on in Flint, Michigan, and other communities in relationship to lead and the poisoning of our children, once again, they dragged their feet and they did not make definitive actions. But the Biden-Harris administration has. They've changed out a whole bunch of pipes that are there. You look at the water quality issues and the crumbling infrastructure inside of black communities. Once again, they had an opportunity to be able to address that, but they decided to redirect resources to other communities that weren't as needed. So you can go down the laundry list of things if you want to talk about public health in relationship to black folks, if you want to talk about the impacts that are happening from environmental racism, if you want to talk about stopping job creation of a green economy that could lift black people up both with business ownership and addressing these health impacts inside of our communities, they said nay to all of those.
Randy, we already know who can't stand DEI. We know who's against affirmative action. We know who's not in support of any programs to actually lift African Americans up. So when Jack Brewer talks all this stuff, we need this, we need that, ain't like Trump and Republicans are trying to do any of that. They are trying to get rid of any program that mentions race. They want to get rid of any program that actually is helping African Americans move ahead.
When it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, they haven't actually been quiet on it. They have aggressively worked against it, as we know from the Supreme Court ruling that essentially said that race is not an issue in this country whatsoever. They try to act as if we are on a level playing field, as if we have not been held back by 400 years, as if there was never this period where as if we were always able to get the same amount of jobs, as if there's still not discrepancy in how much that we're paid compared to what a white male is paid or white people are paid. They have created where it is illegal in certain areas to even use the word DEI or talk about diversity. So, you know, the fact that they would try to suggest that Republicans and Trump specifically has been pro-Black is quite disgusting. He has done everything in his power to ensure, and if this Project 2025 goes forward, it's very clear that never will the voices of Black people or our history here in America ever be considered.
Gavin, listen, I'm real clear on what Democrats need to do, how they must communicate, how they must deliver. I'm also clear on how Republicans are absolutely, positively, undeniably anti-Black.
Yeah, Republicans are completely clueless. I mean, you know, like they could at least try to hide their anti-Blackness, but it just goes to show how anti-Black they truly are, that they truly can't even hide it. And I want to add one thing to each of the prior two answers on environmental racism. You know, it's not even just that they don't believe that environmental racism is an issue. They think climate change as an issue is a hoax. And it isn't just that they don't think race is not an issue. They actually think that white people are the victims of anti-white racism. So when you talk about the Republican Party being anti-Black, they're saying the quiet parts out loud, and they're not even making an effort to obfuscate or hide the anti-Blackness that they have inside of them. Roland, you keep stomping your foot on this, but Donald Trump, through his Project 2025 agenda, wants to bring back stop and frisk. He wants to give police officers immunity for any wrongdoings that they commit while they're on the job. They want to strip away health care for Black Americans, millions of Black Americans who have access to health care because of the Affordable Care Act and the work that the Biden-Harris administration has done to expand and build upon it. They want to put in place a nationwide abortion ban, or at the very least support the restrictions and bans that already exist, which is going to only worsen the maternal mortality health crisis, which is rich hypocrisy for the party that claims to be pro-life. So for all of those Black voters out there who are on the fence, who are wondering who to vote for, and I don't think there are that many out there, Roland, you're right. We can have a conversation about what the Democratic Party needs to do to get with the times and recognize that young Black men don't see the Democratic Party the same way they did back in the 60s after the Civil Rights Movement. But I really don't think there are that many Black voters out there who are honestly deciding whether or not Kamala Harris or Donald Trump is for their best interests. But it's all because the Republican Party doesn't even try to hide their anti-white racism anymore.
Absolutely. And if you want to understand, again, how these white men out here are thinking, you know, you look at the International Association of Firefighters. You know, they have endorsed a Democrat, I think, going back to every election since 1960. The two elections where they did not endorse, both happened to be when women are at the top of the ticket. Hillary Clinton, as well as now Kamala Harris. So the California firefighters broke ranks with the international organization, endorsed Harris. The Michigan, now check this out. The Michigan firefighters, they're not endorsing, so y'all gonna love this one here. After 10 days of discussion, the Michigan Firefighters Union ultimately decided to stick with the International Association of Firefighters non-endorsement on October 3rd. The original decision blindsided the Harris campaign officials who thought they were close to clinching the coveted support. We are following the IAFF recommendations on the presidential election, Matt Serra, who heads the Michigan Firefighters Union, told Politico. However, We have made it clear to our members that our executive board believes Harris is the best choice for supporting our labor issues. Now, isn't this amazing, Randy, that you have the most pro-union administration in more than 50 years in Biden-Harris? And the Teamsters and the firefighters, oh, they stood with Biden. But now that Harris is a nominee, oh, no, we're not endorsing in the race. Did they miss the Biden-Harris part? Or did they miss the Harris part of Biden-Harris? And so if you want to see how, and look, firefighters, Teamsters, we talking white men.
Right. And misogyny is real. And so to put a Black woman in charge, some people cannot embrace that concept. And so, even with the announcement, how they say, in some ways we really respect the things that have been done, but we're not going to endorse, or they won't go that far, not for a Black woman. And, and that's a real issue that the campaign is aware of, that some people are not comfortable seeing a Black woman in charge, even if the person running against her has shown to be very poorly qualified.
Yeah, but look, what you're dealing with here is, again, these are white men. These are white men who are voting against their own economic interests, and that's all it boils down to. And so, yeah, they want Democrats to save their asses when it came to their pensions, but then it's kind of like, oh, yeah, but we're going to go ahead and, we're going to stand with Trump.
Yeah, Roland, I just have to say one thing. It really upsets me because I see so many people saying that people like me and you are saying that people should vote for Kamala because of race, and this is not about race, and we want the best candidate. Whereas Trump's campaign is all about race. It's all about protecting whiteness. It's all about keeping white males in charge. And it's the complete opposite for us. We're just saying, yes, she happens to be Black, she happens to be a woman, and she's clearly the most qualified and best candidate. Right? She is the one who doesn't have felonies. She is, we don't have to get into that, it's clear. But it's just so interesting that people keep trying to accuse us of making this about race, whereas Trump's entire platform is designed to protect whiteness and protect white supremacy and white males being in charge. That's what really it's about. Fundamentally, Project 2025 is a roadmap for keeping white males in charge.
Kevin?
And it is really sad because, you think about the agendas of these two. I agree with everything, that was just said. But, if you look at the economics of the agendas that the two candidates have put forth, truly, for a lot of blue-collar workers, let's say workers without college degrees, it's the Harris platform that would truly be best for their economic interests. If you look at the Trump side and look at what Trump has done or did when he was in office and is now calling for versus what President Biden and Vice President Harris have done, since taking office, Vice President Harris and President Biden have added 775,000 new manufacturing jobs to the economy. So you take a look at jobs and look at the number that have been created over the past nearly 4 years. Look at on healthcare, again, what the Biden-Harris administration has done to protect the Affordable Care Act, which a whole host of white men actually do benefit from. You look at the overtime rule that President Trump finagled with to prevent a whole host of union workers from getting access to many dollars that they could have had that rule gone into effect as originally designed. On every single issue, you can go down the list. If they were truly voting on what their economic best interests were, the choice wouldn't even be clear. The Harris platform is truly an opportunity economy and would benefit them significantly. But because of the sexism, because of the racism, they seem to not be able to get behind someone like Kamala Harris. Now, they might couch it in, we just see ourselves more in someone like Joe Biden, right, when he was a nominee, Scranton, Pennsylvania, all of that. But to me, those are really, it's kind of a code word, a dog whistle for, we just don't know if we're behind this woman. So I just have to call that out.
Mustafa?
I'm third generation union. So all you have to do is look at it simply. Trump has spent a career in trying to deconstruct unions and to, make sure that they have no power. On the other side of the equation, you have the Biden-Harris folks who have made sure that whether it was auto workers or folks who work on the docks or a number of other positions and other sets of opportunities that are out there that they've been supportive. They also put policies in place to help to make sure that union workers were going to continue to be able to be very fruitful. When you look at the bipartisan infrastructure bill and you look at some of the other bills that they passed, all those resources and dollars, those are about making sure that we are strengthening and rebuilding America. So if you are truly a union person, a man or woman or another part of the union family, how could you possibly not support the party or individuals that are actually standing up for you?
Hey, Mustafa, listen to what Trump said.
Mustafa,
listen to what Trump said today at the Bloomberg economic Q&A. This is what he actually said about auto workers.
United States, and they have a little bit, but you know what they really are? Assembly, like in South Carolina. But they build everything in Germany, and then they assemble it here. They get away with murder because they say, oh, yes, we're building cars. They don't build cars. They take them out of a box and they assemble them. We could have our child do it.
Can we come back?
The UAW posted that clip. That's what Donald Trump, we could have children assemble these cars. That's what he thinks about labor. And remind, that little firefighters thing he had in Scranton, Ohio, there were fake firefighters behind him. When he had the so-called UAW support, there were fake union workers behind him. He is a fraud.
Well, he's always lied. He has always lied to union people at the moment that he needed them. You can look at how he lied to United Mine Workers, you know, the folks who worked in the coal mines, and told them that he was going to bring it back. And it just kept continuing to fall further and further behind. You can look at the United Auto Workers and the statement that he just made today. The interesting thing about Donald Trump is that he has never truly built anything. But you have men and women who work with their hands to help to make sure that our transportation system is moving forward, but yet he will belittle them. And folks will still go out and give him their vote, even though he said to you in a very clear way that he cares nothing about you. It's not that he just doesn't care about you, because he is also impacting your children and your children's children by the decisions that he continues to make. So I never tell anybody who to vote for, but I am very curious how you allow someone who has told you that he despises you, that he doesn't see any value in you, and that you would still turn around and give that individual your vote.
I'm going to go to a break and we come back. If any of y'all out there think that Donald Trump is an economic genius, wait till we come back. I'm going to show you how this fool just utterly embarrassed himself and everybody else at the Bloomberg discussion. Y'all, the clips are just unbelievable. That boy is stupid. We're going to show you some of this when we come back. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each annually. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. So, please say it again. What y'all tell me? Okay, all right. See your check money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Again, P.O. Box 57196. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this up, y'all. Graphics machine crashed, but it's all good because I got my own iPad. All right. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Jill Stein, Green Party candidate for president. So why are Trump's close allies helping her? Stein was key to Trump's 2016 wins in battleground states. She's not sorry she helped Trump win. That's why a vote for Stein is really a vote for Trump.
Jill Stein, I like her very much. You know why? She takes 100% from them.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
There's nothing socialist about Kamala Harris.
Trump says Harris is a radical. I don't buy it.
Conservatives have a supermajority on the Supreme Court.
With a likely Republican Senate, those checks and balances will keep our country sane.
If Trump wins, he could end up with total control.
I'm a conservative. I don't agree with Harris on everything, but she was a tough prosecutor and she put bad guys in prison.
I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I'm voting for Kamala Harris in November.
Now, I'm voting for Kamala Harris this fall.
Wrongfully convicted.
5 teenagers were arrested, tried, convicted, and sent to prison.
No men were exonerated.
What he did to us, he tried to end us.
Of course I hate these people.
So-called Central Park 5.
Calling for execution. And let's all hate these people.
You cannot have this man go into office again.
I want society to hate him. We were innocent kids.
The confessions were coerced.
Today, we are exonerated. That guy says he still stands by the original guilty verdict.
This is about democracy being on the ballot.
I have absolutely no compassion.
Look at Kamala. She represents the kaleidoscope of the human family. There's something different happening in America. We will get the opportunity to build a future where we will be able to thrive and not just survive.
Winners never back down from a challenge. Champions know it's anytime, any place. But losers, they whine and waffle and take their ball home.
Trump now refusing to debate a second time.
He did terribly in the last debate. He's so easily triggered by Kamala Harris.
Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. If you've got something to say it to my face.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Me, Sherry Shepard, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Brandon George has been missing from his Wilmington, Delaware home since September 9th. The 15-year-old is 6 feet tall, weighs 160 pounds, and has black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Brandon George should call the Newcastle County, Delaware Police Department at 302-573-2800, 302-573-2800. Folks in Sarasota, Florida, say the police department there, y'all watch this, said a crime was not committed after a black teen was harassed in his neighborhood by a white man, Stephen Caraga. The video circling on social media was recorded by the teen showing Caraga stopping, first of all, getting out of his car and questioning the young black man, the young black teen, if he belongs in the neighborhood. It looked like he retrieved a weapon at one point, but another man stopped him. Watch this.
What's going on, buddy?
Nigga done brought her.
Man, we asked you a question.
She ain't my hell.
Obviously, he doesn't live here.
The reason why I asked you to live here is to the community, so if you don't live here, you need to leave. If you live here, you're visiting a friend, that's fine, just let us know, because you're getting neighbors concerned since you're walking around my house. I'm not walking around your house. Hold on, Steve. You've been past my house 4 times, I don't know you. I've never seen you here before, and you're walking past my house over and over again. So if you live here or you have a friend you're visiting here, that's fine. I'm not in front of your house. You're actually following me.
You went up the wrong way. We just asking a question. You live out here?
I'm a part of the neighborhood.
You're a part of the neighborhood? What does that mean you live here? It's simple.
Like, bro, what?
I'm asking you a question. You live here? You went up to my wife.
Bro, I didn't go up to your wife, bro. I don't know who you're talking about. Bro. and I think I can walk around my neighborhood.
If you live here, yeah. So you live here.
Right.
You live here?
You gonna keep asking me the same question over and over and over and over and over? This man following me. This is harassment, right?
You haven't answered yet.
That's harassment, right? That's harassment, right?
I think what you did to my wife, yes.
Look. You followed.
What you did to my wife,
You read it up. The fuck is y'all following? Why? Man, you don't tell me what the fuck I should not and should be. You better watch yourself. Fuck. I don't even want to, I can't even be comfortable because look at this shit. Then y'all coming up the block way for people. They trying to walk and shit with their kids. These people out here following me and shit. This ain't weird. Look at the neighborhood creepers. The neighborhood creepers. Damn, what the fuck? Then Buddy, look at Buddy, he's still creeping.
Steve. No, Steve.
What the fuck? Hey, that's some weary shit, my boy. Damn. Yeah, they ran this bitch out to create problems and shit. This shit wild as fuck.
Gavin, do you know how many times white folks have walked in my neighborhood and I don't pay their ass no mind? I don't even pay attention. This is what we're talking about. This is absolutely walking while black.
We've come up with another verb that we can add to the list of things that black men have gotten harassed or in some cases killed for doing. Driving, sleeping, listening to music, having a mental health crisis, and now walking. We've seen black men get harassed or killed or hurt doing all of those things. And I'm grateful that this young man here escaped with his life and was not physically harmed, because we should recognize that in Florida, there is a stand your ground law with no duty to retreat, meaning that that man who's been following him and harassing him could have pulled out a gun and killed this young man here and argued.
No, actually he did. So this man's name is Stephen Correga. He's all over social media. He actually did. You might have seen right in the video where he was walking and the guy jumps out and a neighbor stops him. He literally stops him. In fact, someone enhanced the video. Give me a second. So, yeah, he was going to shoot. He was going. So let's see here. Let me pull it back. So watch this. See right here. Come on, guys. You see this? So the neighbor right there, and so this guy, the neighbor in the green stopped him. He actually grabbed the gun.
Obviously, he doesn't live here.
And you hear them saying, obviously he doesn't live here. This is our reality, Mustafa. You can't even be black and take a walk. This is South Africa. This is Elon Musk apartheid. Show your papers. Prove to us that you live here, because this is our neighborhood and we don't know you. Listen, man, hey, it's 8 houses on my block. I don't know who the hell in 7 of them. And I don't even care. I had a neighbor, Mustafa, stop by, said, welcome to the neighborhood. I ain't even want to talk to him.
I mean, I feel you. I mean, and I know we jest, but this is also deadly serious, right? This is the same way that Trayvon Martin on February 26, 2012, there in Sanford, Florida, lost his life by someone thinking that they had the privilege to be able to stop him from being able to move throughout his community, his family's community. But because they made the assumption that there is no way that you could afford to live in this community or that you have the right to be in this community, then they think that they can regulate it. It's the same way that our dear brother Ahmaud Arbery also, while he was jogging through a community and people made the assumption that he had no right to be there and decided to take action against him and take his life. That's why this is deadly serious.
Yep.
Is because when these situations move forward in relationship to us, we are never given the benefit of the doubt. They move straight to very forceful or life-taking sets of action. So that's why we have to make sure that we understand the seriousness of these situations, the seriousness when we got 400 million guns in this country and someone can just walk to their car and pull it out because they decide that you don't belong in a space. And that's why you got to have a Department of Justice that when they see these types of things, when you have the folks who are there in the legal system who are not doing the right thing, how is that not harassment? If you've been to the first year of law school, you don't even have to go to your first year of law school to understand what the definition of harassment is. But yet didn't want to have any charges or didn't want to have to pull these people in. We've got to realize that these things, yeah, they can be humorous when we understand the totality of certain things that we've been through, but there is also a deadly seriousness for Black men and Black women when it comes to people making decisions about where we should and shouldn't be, and if they have the right to take our lives, because there are laws on the books that say stand your ground. But the only time stand your ground ever really comes into play is when Black and brown people are the ones that are on the end of that bullet.
Randy, these people are truly insane. These people actually think they can do what the hell they want, when they want, and you walk past my house 4 times. Well, hell, if I'm out walking, and if I'm walking a mile or 2 or 3 miles, it's a good bet I'm gonna have to pass your house multiple times.
Well, they think that America is theirs. And as Black Americans, we are always...
And it seems like you gotta comply. Your ass ain't even a cop.
Well, if it's yours, right? You feel as if anyone who is a stranger or that you don't trust, you can, make us or try to make us justify our existence. That is the exhausting part. This is supposed to be our home. We helped build this country. And yet we are oftentimes under the pressure to justify our mere existence for merely existing. And I really, when I lived in a neighborhood that was in California, in Marin County, that was very, very white. We had a neighborhood app. A lot of people are on this app, and they would say, I saw someone strange walking around the neighborhood. They would send out the alerts. And of course, it was always a person of color that they were referencing. My sons were 2 basketball players. I put pictures. I felt compelled because I was so fearful for my children after seeing, tragedies like Trayvon Martin. I posted pictures of my children on the site and said, these are my sons. We live in this neighborhood. They are supposed to be here, because I was so frightened by the neighborhood chatter that I would see all the time, anyone that they deemed suspicious being in the neighborhood. So when you're in a country that a certain group of people think is theirs, and that they have the right to question anybody else, it is scary. And so when I watched this young man, and he's laughing, but to me it seemed like a nervous laughter. And this is a place like not only America is his home, this neighborhood is now his home. He must live against these sick people who are willing to hunt them down, that these grown men, you saw there were grown men surrounding him, surrounding this young man for a long period of time, and he has this nervous laughter going on, but how terrifying that must have been for him, and he will never forget that. And then for people to say, why is there a distrust against the police officers who did not protect this young man after someone goes to get, that man left and came back with a gun. But he's not protected.
And if he didn't laugh, they'd say he was menacing.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. All right, folks. So today, oh my God. Oh, Lord have mercy. Bloomberg had y'all an economic conversation with one of the dumbest damn people you ever seen in your life. Hey, if any of y'all out there keep saying Donald Trump is an economic genius, you stupid. You are stupid. I'm going to play y'all some different clips. We're going to play the clip, comment. So I'm just warning you, Mustafa, Randy, and Gab. I'm trying to prepare y'all for a litany of dumbassness. Here is, I already played you the auto workers clip. Listen to this one.
Should Google be broken up?
I just haven't gotten over something the Justice Department did yesterday, where Virginia cleaned up its voter rolls and got rid of thousands and thousands of bad votes, and the Justice Department sued them that they should be allowed to put those bad votes and illegal votes back in and let the people vote. So I haven't gotten over that. A lot of people have seen that. They can't even believe it.
The question is about Google, President Trump.
Given the questions was about Google, what you talking about?
I think I'm at a loss for words. Yeah, I mean, this is somehow not even as bad as when he was standing on stage last night with Governor Kristi Noem, and he asked them to play some beautiful songs, and he stood on stage swaying back and forth as Ave Maria and, I don't know, Sweet Caroline, and insert other songs for over 30 minutes, nearly 40 minutes. So somehow this is somehow less cringy than that, but this man needs help. And I saw the vice president posted on Twitter last night. She posted that clip of Donald Trump swaying back and forth to the music, and she said, "I hope he's okay. I also hope he's okay."
I mean, that boy, that boy is just dumb, Mustafa.
Well, there's a lot of things that are going on there. So let's be honest. You know, Donald Trump is suffering from cognitive decline. That's one part. But if you go back, you can go back at least 2 decades. But if you want to just go back a decade and you actually listen, folks, please listen and do your research. And when someone would ask him a question about something substantive about the economy or about finance, you would never get an answer that had any real value to it or depth to it. And that's because he's been great over the years at smoke screening. So when someone would ask him a tough question, he would bring something else into the conversation that had little to do or nothing to do with what was being asked of him. So this now it's very dangerous because you are talking about putting a person in charge of our economy and in charge of our military and in charge of all the various types of policies that are out there that drive our country. And you're asking someone who does not have the ability to make the informed decision. So it goes way beyond when people used to say he didn't read. If somebody doesn't read, that tells you enough about the unseriousness of them being able to do anything with a level of knowledge to be able to be successful. So now you've got the cognitive decline, you've got somebody who has never traditionally been a reader, and you have somebody who doesn't have enough information.
Let me play this clip here because he is so mad that in his mind, he actually thinks that his tariffs idea can be applied to anything and everything. And then he decided to take shots at the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg. Here's more stupidity from Chicago.
You said, President Trump, at the moment there is a thing called the Trump trade in the markets. Do you know what that is? The Trump trade is very simple. People are betting that your policies are going to drive up debt, they're going to drive up inflation, so they're going to drive up interest rates. Yeah. Are the investors wrong?
Yeah, I had 4 years no inflation. I had 4 years no inflation.
But that was when you had much.
I had 4 years. It's better than that. And Biden, who has no idea where the hell he is, okay? Biden went 2 years with no inflation because he inherited from me. And then they started spending money like drunken sailors. They spent so much money. It was so ridiculous, the money they were spending. They were spending on the Green New Scam. The Green New Scam, the Green New Deal, you know, it was conceived of by AOC +3. She never even studied the environment in college. She went to a nice college. She came out, she just said, the Green New Scam. She just named all these things.
President Trump, the issue at the moment, the markets are looking at the fact you are making all these promises. Latest one was car loans. You're flooding the thing with giving giveaways.
But we're going to grow.
I was actually quite kind to you. I used 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion. People like the Wall Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
yeah, but you don't know.
They have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way. You've been wrong about it.
You're trying to turn this. You've
been wrong about it.
No, you're trying to turn this into debate. There are business people.
But you're wrong. You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff. You've been wrong. Let me tell you about currency. You're going.
So, Randy, he's like, oh, you're wrong. You actually did add significant to the debt, and economists are clear. No, you're a liar. And then again, I don't think the person who's filed bankruptcy 6 times is an economic expert.
No, every business that he has essentially tried to do has failed, including his fake college. What Trump does, I mean, it's the same pattern every time, is that he attacks. So he just has to find someone to attack, and that riles his constituents up. That, you know, he's like, you're wrong, and the Wall Street's wrong, and everybody's wrong. The court system's wrong. Everybody's against him, and you just have to trust what he says. And all he does is throw out concepts, which is exactly what the interviewer pointed out, was like, you keep throwing out all these concepts, trying to entice people to vote for you, but in no way does it make any sort of economic sense. But he can't talk about that because he's not knowledgeable about it. So he just attacks and says the same thing, and he is best when he is attacking someone. He's not going to ever say anything significant about Harris. He'll just say something broad, like call her retarded. He's not going to talk about specific policies because he doesn't understand them. He's not intelligent enough to speak intelligently about economic issues. He just attacks.
Okay, prepare yourselves for this Rhodes Scholar.
He was going to tax American companies doing business in France, a very substantial tax. And I told my people, I didn't even like the companies, but I'm representing American companies. So I said, call Macron and call his people and say, we're not going to stand for that. And I got Mnuchin and, you know, a lot of guys, smart guys, if I can finish. Yeah. I'll go longer if you want.
No, I was going to ask you about the Federal Reserve.
You got to be able to finish a thought because it's very important. You know, this is big stuff we're talking about. You can't go that quickly.
You've gone from the dollar to Macron.
So let me just tell you. So I said, no, I'm just telling you basic, it's called the weave. It's all these different things happening. Yeah. So let me just say. So I said to Mnuchin, call him up and say, no way. He did.
So the right, Randy, was criticizing Vice President Harris in my interview when she talked about a constellation and how you connect the stars, how you connect the dots, talking about Trump's racism. They were like, oh, Kamala Harris gave a weird answer about astrology. What the hell is the global weave?
Right, that's what I was laughing about. He's like, it's a weave.
Global weave.
You got to keep up with it. I don't even really know what to say. I have a hard time finding any substance in his words to even give a critique of them because he says nothing. He just kind of meanders throughout the conversation on touch points. He attacks people. He says he'll give himself a compliment, and that's all he does. It's not a whole lot there to even critique him. He doesn't give us any policies. He doesn't tell us what he's going to do. He just throws out ideas. There's no there.
And to really dumb people, he sounds brilliant. All right, I got to go to a break. Real short break. When we come back, y'all, Well, I play out. So if y'all got a problem with cussing, you can't listen to the next video. But after the break, so comedian Gary Owen, let's get into a verbal tit for tat with a white maggot. Ooh, wait till I show y'all the exchange. We'll be right back.
I get it. The cost of rent, groceries, and utilities is too high. So here's what we're going to do about it. We will lower housing costs by building more homes and crack down on landlords who are charging too much. We will lower your food and grocery bills by going after price gougers who are keeping the cost of everyday goods too high. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message because you work hard for your paycheck. You should get to keep more of it. As president, I'll make that my top priority.
Bob and I both voted for Donald Trump.
I voted for him twice. I won't vote for him again. January 6th was a wake-up call for me.
Donald Trump divides people. We've already seen what he has to bring.
He didn't do anything to help us. Kamala Harris, she cares about the American people. I think she's got the wherewithal to make a difference. I've never voted for a Democrat.
Yes, we're both lifelong Republicans.
The choice is very simple.
I'm voting for Kamala.
I am voting for Kamala Harris.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children, but my embryo transfer was canceled 8 days before the procedure. Donald Trump overturning Roe v. Wade stopped us from growing the family that we wanted. I don't want politicians telling me how or when I can have a baby. We need a president that will protect our rights, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I am Tommy Davidson. I play Oscar on Proud Family, Louder and Prouder.
Right now, I'm rolling with Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
All right, y'all. So, you know what? I don't know why people. Okay, I've been to a lot of comedy shows. And when you go to a comedy show, you know what? You're supposed to laugh. All right? It's going to happen. And they might say some stuff that offends you. They're comedians. That's what they do. So I don't understand why people go to comedy shows and act like they're going to seminar or going to a workshop or going to hear a sermon or a speech. They're not. It's a comedy show. Everybody can get ripped. Anybody can get ripped at any time. So I was on Instagram yesterday and I saw this post. So my man Gary Owen was on stage, and this MAGA fool in the audience did not take kindly to Gary's jokes about the orange man. So things got a little profane. So if y'all don't like cussing, go ahead and turn the TV, turn your phone down. Let me give y'all some time. But I thought this was so hilarious that I hit Gary. I was like, yo, Gary, y'all got to send me the 16:9 video. And so his homeboy, he sent it to me. Let me give his name. I loved it. He said, oh, absolutely. He said, Roland Martin, you're a legend. We got to send it to you. So Adam Finke sent me this video. He shot this. So, all right, y'all got time. Y'all can't stand cussing. I thought this was just a hilarious response to a maggot. Watch.
5 minutes, motherfucker. No, you're not gonna. You know what? You're not gonna give 5 minutes, motherfucker. That was the whitest motherfucker I've ever heard. Oh my God. Build your own career, bitch. What you want my 5 minutes for? No refunds, ho. I still got your money, bitch. So technically, you work for me tonight, ho. Fuck you. Ooh, that's when I won. The minute when they just give up with the fuck you. everyone.
Give that back to me right now.
Come on, Gary.
What happened? Oh, we leaving? Is that him? Oh, yeah. He looks exactly like I thought he was going to look, too. Oh, God. There's a lot of child on his laptop. I guarantee you that shit.
Stick in my face, motherfucker. Just get stung by a bee?
I don't get these people, Randy. You gonna walk your ass out when the Make America Great Again hat? I'm just saying, they gonna light that ass up.
He came wanting to fight. You know, you got your Trump thing on. And like I said, Trump's people are the angriest people I've ever seen in my life. They are always angry at somebody. They're scared to death of somebody taking over the world. So he came in looking for a fight and, you know, he got served. You know, don't start none, won't be none.
Ooh, Mustafa, one of the reasons why I want Trump to lose so bad because I can't wait for MAGA tears. I want that man, I want Kamala Harris to win and Tim Walz win, and I want these MAGA people to be crying, upset, oh my God. I just can't wait for the whine of Megyn Kelly and Fox News. I just can't wait for that second consecutive L to be hung on Trump's fat ass.
Well, we'll have that all taken care of here in, 3 weeks now. So, you know, the truth hurts for a lot of people. And that truth is being able to put the mirror up to the injustices that have happened, to us as individuals and how we treat each other and how we look at the world. And that reflection will be very, very bright here in 3 weeks. You know, the next part of that, of course, is that we have to do what we can to make sure that this country heals and that we move forward in a positive direction. But it will also be very eye-opening to folks when they see the results.
And Gavin, this is why, at the end of the day, the only way to guarantee these idiots not being in power is to vote. That is the only way. Sitting on the couch is not an option. Donald Trump and MAGA, they do not care about black people. They're not going to care for black people. And I'm telling you right now, our life is going to be a living hell if these idiots win, and there is no doubt that we are on a positive trajectory with Biden-Harris, and it should continue with Harris-Walz.
Thank you, Roland, for bringing it here, because we spent this segment, the last segment, laughing, you know, at the expense of Donald Trump and his maggots, as you say, Roland. But I'm still concerned, right? The polls are way tighter than they should be. We know that this election is going to be extremely close. It's going to come down to a handful of states. My home state of Georgia is, I'm reassured by the hundreds of thousands of votes that were cast today on the first day of early voting, but there's still a lot of work to do in Georgia. There's still a lot of work to do in Pennsylvania and in the other states that are going to determine this election. You know, Roland, you said, you know, what's going to happen, or Mustafa, maybe it was you who mentioned, you know, what's going to happen when we hang that second L, right, on Donald Trump's neck. The scary thing is there's still a lot of people in Donald Trump's camp who don't think he was handed an L in the first place 4 years ago, and that is terrifying for the sake of our democracy. So the question is, if and when, and I'm going to knock on wood, we do beat Donald Trump in 3 weeks, will his side even accept the results? We talked about the doubt that Republican election officials are sowing in our electoral process across this country. We can't control that in any other way besides voting, not only voting keeping Donald Trump out of the White House and electing Kamala Harris, but voting for Democrats up and down the ballot at the local level, at the state level, because at the state level, the state officials are the ones who put these voting laws on the books in the first place. So we have to be ready to get out there. If you talk to someone in your community, in your family, in your network who is not registered to vote and there's still time, that is priority number one. We need to get every single soul to the poll, because this man we were just laughing at for all the ridiculous answers he gave and the swaying he was in the dancing on stage last night is this close to being the next president of the United States. We can do something about that, and it's called voting.
And there's nothing more important. If black people are the reason he loses, that will make them even crazier. So my people in Michigan, my people in Pennsylvania, my people in Georgia, my people in North Carolina, my folks in Arizona, in Nevada, in Wisconsin, it's in your hands. You absolutely can vote. Black folks in Florida, y'all could turn out. 400,000 Haitian Americans in Miami, man, turn out in numbers they ain't never seen. Upset Rick Scott for United States Senator in Florida. Turn those numbers out. And I'm telling you, they will start crying because the one thing they cannot do, they could throw every obstacle in our way, but black folks have shown we will jump over every hurdle. We will jump over every wall. Y'all can do whatever you can, but I'm telling y'all, it is not going to work. Let's take them out at the ballot box. That's how it's done. Kevin, Randy, Mustafa, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so very much. Yo, tomorrow, do y'all have the graphic? Did Keenan send y'all the graphic? Where we are tomorrow? Did he send it to you? Okay, here we go. All right, y'all. So we are in North Carolina tomorrow. That's right. First stop, we're at Elizabeth City State University. It's tomorrow, 6 p.m. on Thursday. I'll be broadcasting live at Word Tabernacle Church, 821 Word Plaza, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Friday, October 18th, I'm going to be at Fayetteville State University, Seabrook Auditorium, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I got some lunch stops in each one of those places. Follow me on social media. You know where we're going to be stopping. And so, man, we look forward to being on the ground in North Carolina. This weekend, I go to Dallas on Saturday. I'm going to be speaking, preaching, you know I'm bootleg, at the 10 a.m. service at Friendship West Baptist Church. Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Haynes III, I'll be signing copies of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. And I'm voting in Dallas on Monday. Then Freddie and I are going to hit some early voting locations. Then I'm broadcasting my show live from Friendship West on Monday. I'm back here on Tuesday. I go to Brooklyn, New York on the 23rd. And then on the 24th, we are broadcasting live in Jacksonville, Florida, Edward Waters University. Can't wait. So, y'all, it's a jam-packed. We're going to be on the road doing our thing, keeping it real. Hey, y'all see I'm rocking the Georgia stand-up hoodie. It's a little cool in D.C. today. And so if you go to Georgia Stand Up website, zoom in, Anthony. Y'all can get this shirt. I have the shirt, but this here is the hoodie. Elect black women. Oh, right here. Let me move this right here. Elect black women, fund black women, believe in black women, invest in black women, follow black women, defend black women, hire black women, promote black women, stand up and vote for black women. And y'all vote for that black woman, Vice President Kamala Harris, because she's got a better agenda. I guarantee you, she's got a better agenda. Man, switch to the camera, dog. Camera 2. Switch to camera 2. Come on, thank you, switch, thank you. She's got a way better agenda, y'all, for us than Donald Trump ever has. And so that's it, y'all. Don't forget, join our Bring the Funk fan club. Send your checking money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal is rmartinunfiltered. Venmo is rmunfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV, and get your copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Get the audio version on Audible, and please support the work that we do. That's it, folks. I'll see y'all tomorrow from Elizabeth City, North Carolina, the North Carolina Black Belt. Holla! Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?